Hey there, guys. Ishak from Shaqtech here, bringing you guys the first episode of Shaqtalks. And today we have on the chat Mr. Pasan from Tech Gumball and Mr. Rhinosaurus. And today our topic of discussion will be AirPods and how they became the number one in-ear wireless earphones on the market. And also, why are they the most popular AirPods in the market, and what we personally think of them. So, to start things off, recently in the news, Apple released its new AirPods 2, after a very successful fourth quarter of 2018, where they captured 60% of the wireless earphones market, which was far greater than any other competitor behind it. So, what led to this popularity? And why is it so popular? First, let's have some thoughts on what we personally think of AirPods. I'll open the discussion up to the floor. So, what do we think of the AirPods?
Well, I think that they're probably all right products. I haven't used them, but Apple kind of bought them in with planned obsolescence on their phones.
Well, from what I've heard is that there's not much of a difference between the AirPods 1 and the AirPods 2,
Yeah,
apart from the wireless charger.
yeah, and they've
Um,
introduced a new chip into it, the H1 chip. It's just like an upgrade from Bluetooth 4.2 to Bluetooth 5, and you've got like a little bit more improvement in your thinking between like your iPhones and Mac devices, but the sound quality itself doesn't actually change.
Doesn't it also affect the battery life as well? Apparently,
Oh yeah, they do have
increases battery life by
to increase it. Like, as an owner of AirPods myself, like, I've never had an issue with the batteries. Like, the batteries could like last me a couple of weeks, to be honest. Like, my regular week, it can go a couple of weeks with like constant use. So I don't think that's actually that big of an upgrade. But like, why are the AirPods so popular? Like, how did they capture 60% of the market at that price point? And like, you guys remember how like when they first released the
international
new-
students.
I mean, you can say that, but like, I mean, when walking down the city and like going through university these days, you just see like everyone has them. Like, there was like you see them, Ryan, like at university. There's so many people walking around with
Yeah.
AirPods in their ears.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
so many people.
what's the common trend? Like what?
Well, they're literally not international students, like just regular students, you know? Why? Like, because those earphones, I believe they still cost like over 230 NZD, right? And you're not buying
Yeah,
the greatest sounding like they literally sound exactly like the earphones you used to get in the box, the wired earphones with the iPhones. They literally sound exactly the same. That's the
super
Well,
expensive.
if you don't want to upgrade to the new generation and want the wireless charging capabilities, you can actually buy the case itself for like 140.
Yeah, and it works with the first gen.
Yeah.
But still, like, in the first place, spending over like $250 on a pair of earphones, which literally sound exactly like the earphones you would get, the wired ones in the iPhone box originally. They're not the greatest sounding things. Well, are they really worth that much just because they're wireless?
Well, you're paying for the brand, right?
Yeah, you're paying for the brand, but the main thing I reckon is that like there hasn't really been that many good wireless earbuds around. Like I had a pair, I can't even remember what the brand was, but they were terrible sound quality over Bluetooth, and I think that's what most of them had, whereas Apple just came out and made something that was like half decent, and then they could just go with it because it was just the only decent thing around.
Yeah. Well, then what about like, because I remember the closest competitor to the AirPods was the Power Beats, I believe. The Beats, the wireless Beats earphones.
But they're owned by Apple as well.
Yeah, well,
those
there's
are my Apples,
subsidiary, but they were like the
itself.
closest thing to them. And there's also the other brand, Jabra. Have you guys heard of Jabra? I believe it was called, or Jaybird?
Yeah,
No, not Jaybird. Jaybird.
Jaybird.
Those.
Yeah,
were
I got a pair of Jaybirds, but from my experience, looking online, people say Jaybirds have better quality, and you can like customize the quality as well on the Android app.
Yeah, and like they have a more
Like Apple don't actually have that customization.
Yeah, like one thing I was really hoping for when they released AirPods 2 at least was to make it look a bit different, right? Maybe add some color to it or some sort of customization, but literally they didn't change anything, and
It looks exactly the same,
like,
identical.
nothing changed.
Yeah, it looks the same.
But
How are
my
people
question
supposed
is,
to know that you've got the new?
yeah, I mean, that brings me like the next question is like, why are people buying AirPods? Like, why is it the most popular thing? What is attracting people to buy them?
To flex.
Yeah, but
Same reason people buy Apple phones, really.
like for me personally, I am quite heavy into now the Apple ecosystem with like a laptop and an iPhone, and I quite like the software interfaces of both those systems, of a desktop and the mobile handset. But for the actual earphones, you're not getting any of like a software tweak or anything. You're not getting a major sound quality boost. I don't know
I
what.
thought it connects faster with Apple devices.
Well, so
Like I've
yeah, so like the one I have. So how it works is as soon as you open up that like AirPods case and plop them in your ears, it'll like automatically connect to your phone or laptop that's nearby that's been connected previously. But honestly, the initial connecting part is exactly like how you would connect a Bluetooth phone to another Bluetooth device. You hold down a button, and then it like shows its Bluetooth position, shows its Bluetooth availability, and then you connect to a phone like you'd normally do for like a Bluetooth speaker. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see that being like $100 worth of amazement, you know. It's so why? I guess like flexing, but like everyone has them. So is it really for flexing?
Well, let's say they sell because of their great marketing then. Because like Apple spent a lot on marketing and all that.
Yes, but like I don't think I've hardly ever seen like before AirPods 2. I hardly ever saw an AirPods ad. Like, do you guys ever remember seeing an AirPods ad?
Not on our televisions, but on the internet, I've seen it.
Yeah, like you see quite a few on YouTube.
Yeah, and
I
like
get
also
like
like
plenty on everywhere.
I think one
And
of
like
the
tech reviews, they're
Yeah.
very nice.
I think one of the main reasons why they're so popular is because of the influences. Like you see like celebrities, your favorite Instagram models and whatever are wearing AirPods.
Jake Paul probably has one, right?
Oh, I'm pretty sure Jake Paul has one. Pretty sure. And like it's like people are just trying to, you know, fit in with them or try and be them. I mean,
Yeah.
So is that the reason why you got a pair?
I'd like to
Yeah,
think
he's
that
idolizes Jake Paul.
I like to think that because you guys remember when AirPods first came out, there was like such like huge backlash. There was like the memes and everything. Everyone's like, "What is that? What is that? Well, it looks like toothbrushes in the ears and all that kind of stuff." And like people are really dissing it and like I won't ever buy that. So I like to think that I bought it during that period where it was like it wasn't that popular. I still
Oh,
remember.
hipster.
Well, I still remember like when I went to go buy it. I still remember when I went to go buy it, right? Yeah, wow. Hey. So I still remember when I went to go buy it, right? And I asked the shop assistant, I'd like to pick up a pair of AirPods, and he comes back with the regular wired ones. And I believe they're like only like $50 or something. And then I'm like, no, I want,
$50.
yeah, I was 50. I think it's less than that, or something like that. But I was like, oh no, I want the AirPods, the wireless ones. Like, okay. And he just like looked at me real weird, like, what? Are you sure? Comes back and he's like, you really think you're gonna spend like $250 on a pair of earphones? And he's like questioning my purchase. It's like, okay, because at that time, like, not many
Totally
people-
agree with the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like-
as you said,
But
questioning your life decisions.
he was curious. He was like, I really want to try them, but he's like, I don't think I'd be able to like spend that much on a pair of earphones and feel good about it. I mean, since the time I've owned it, like I use it like every day on my way to uni and back and forth. Like it's super easy to use and carry around. And that idea, like a lot of people were saying that it's real easy to lose your AirPods. I don't think I've ever lost them. It kind of makes you more protective of them. But
Have you ever exercised with your AirPods?
I've gone on runs with them, jogs with
So
them.
like, and like, you have no issues with them falling out of your ear or?
No, I don't at all. But I think one of my friends, I remember when I first got them, he tried to try them on. It didn't actually fit in his ear. You need to actually have a certain ear shape because they're fixed, right? They're not like your sports style ones where you can have like a rubber tip on or something on it, like a foam tip or rubber tip. They're like
Yeah.
a fixed
Mhm.
plastic thing. So like your ear, if your ear is the wrong shape, it is really uncomfortable for you and it won't even fit.
Damn.
So I can imagine that could be a really expensive issue if you bought a pair of AirPods and didn't realize it.
Well, you could just use the refund policy, I guess, right?
I don't know what is it.
Would they even allow you to refund them?
Yeah,
It's kind of a
'cause you-
sanitary issue.
If you
isn't it?
wore them, like, because
Well, if you can't even wear them, what's the point?
no, but like if you want a refund, like you could be like it's broken or something. But if it just doesn't, if you've tried them on, like don't wax on it.
Especially with Shaq's ears, man.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, but like it's really like wondering like how. So do you guys reckon the biggest?
Wait, wait,
What?
before we continue on
Yeah.
this, I just want to say that instead of Shaq Talks, we should rename this to Shaq Roast.
Wow, sad.
No. Let's continue.
So do you guys think like AirPods are kind of just a thing people buy to show off with, or is it actually genuinely something people choose because of the technology?
I think there's a bit of both. I think there's probably plenty of people who are buying them just because they're Apple and they haven't done any ounce of research on what's around. But like, I think there's plenty of people who've also done the opposite. Just depends on
feel
what
like-
kind of person you are, I guess.
And I feel like the people that buy it would also recommend it to their friends as well, because they're not going to be like, "Oh, I spent $300 on this crap." They're going to always say something good, right?
Well, I mean, I bought one. I don't think I've actually ever referred it to anyone. Not that it's bad.
Because you know how much it costs.
So if you haven't referred it to anyone, does that mean it's not really that great of a product?
Well, there's a couple of reasons, like, because you know how AirPods don't just work with iPhone, they can work with Android devices as well as a regular
Mhm.
Bluetooth. Like, a lot of my friends don't have iOS devices in the first place. So first of all, if you don't have an iOS device, even though it is compatible with an Android device, I really don't recommend it with an Android device. You don't get that like special connecting thing, which is like the main selling point of an AirPod with Android phone. And also
You're talking about the animation in the beginning, right?
no, like the actual connection. So the way
Ah.
that they connect is like I can just simply like open up my AirPods case and it will like
Oh, yeah,
automatically
yeah.
directly connect. While for Android phone you have to do the Bluetooth thing, like Bluetooth,
Yeah.
etc. And also at that price point, unless you're like flowing with cash, like you got cash to burn, I'm gonna have to say like get something with like a lot more better audio, much more better audio quality, such as like a headphones at that price point, I reckon, because you're not getting like audio file quality at all. It's just literally if you want to hear the sound out of AirPods, just listen to a regular iPhone's default earphone,
Yeah.
So like yeah, so I don't know if I would ever recommend it to a friend just cause like just for that wireless, like the wireless gimmick, that it's really easy. Even if my friends like if Ryan, if you had an iPhone, I don't think I would still recommend you AirPods. Just because of
Yeah.
the wireless.
I mean, if I had an iPhone, I'd really like you to just smash it for me. Because I don't know what I'm doing at
Why
that
this
point in my
hatred for
life
Apple
where
here,
I bought an
Ryan?
iPhone.
why is this hatred?
So much more expensive, man.
Yeah,
It's just like priced up out the arse. So man,
I mean,
so
what-
expensive.
like you guys have heard about how like Apple's stock prices are dropping down because of the iPhones aren't selling at all. I mean, that can be
Oh, they're
that's
not. Are they not?
no, they're not because of the price point. Like
There's probably more reasons than that.
no, like they were actually no,
I mean,
like
the market's probably trending
they
downwards as well.
no, they actually like it was actually acknowledged by Apple that the iPhone sales are like they're reduced prices. I think in China, which is supposed
Yeah,
to be their main
yeah.
thing. I was like,
But did you hear about the product, the Air Power Mat?
oh yeah,
The
not
what?
really. The Air
What,
Power.
what is
Yeah,
this?
so
I haven't heard of this.
Tell us about it, son.
Air
yeah, the Air
power.
Power Mat's supposed to wirelessly charge. Well, it's supposed to wirelessly charge more, like at least 3 of the Apple products simultaneously.
Oh, jeez.
And so there's some technical engineering stopped the project, and the CEO actually told people that they actually couldn't do this project and canceled it. But a lot of people that had the AirPods wanted this, and
Yeah.
on the AirPods box and stuff, they even have the Air Power charging mat as a they show it on the box as well. So
Like there's
Oh,
all
damn.
these.
I didn't even know about this.
It's like all the D brand, right, Ryan? They just have a meme. They're like, oh, we got a
Yeah.
new skin for the Air Power, and there's actually just a picture of someone holding air, like nothing in between their hands. 'Cause But I like, for me, I was also looking forward for Air Power because I got an Apple Watch, got the AirPods. You could put in the AirPods wireless charging case, and also you could like get a new iPhone.
You've
and
got
just
all
chuck
you got all those Apple products, man.
okay. Have you guys ever heard about like how once you go into Apple, like it's really easy to get sucked into their ecosystem?
and then pay a lot of money.
Yeah, like
Yeah, lose a lot
I
of
mean,
money.
they have a really good
Mm-mm-mm.
sales strategy there because it's like once you get an iPhone and a Mac, the connectivity. So like how like on my Mac, I'm getting my text messages and calls, and everything is synced and everything. It's so nice. And then when I go to like a Windows computer and it's like, oh, I missed this kind of experience. So that's like you get
I'm not
sucked
sure what
in.
you mean by that.
It's because like so like my
Like, what
iPhone
are you missing from it?
on Windows, let's say for instance, I'm not getting my texts and calls straight to it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I get that.
Oh, wait. You can get an app that gives you text and calls to your Windows. Push
Yeah.
pull it.
Oh, I
Fixes it.
not sure. But I
They're-
mean,
they're
like this is out of the box, right? I open the
completely
box. Like I open the box and it's like completely. It's already
Windows and Android you can customize.
Yeah, that is the other one. Like, especially like for the phones, right? An Android phone, you can do quite a lot of customization to it.
Yeah,
You can like customize
Yeah.
the launcher and everything. While on an iOS device, I mean, back in the day, I have to give credit to Apple. They have given more customization options. Like back in the day, everyone just had to root their phones to do anything to it. But now like less people root it. Like, but then it's like, what else do you need to do with your phone? Like with my iPhone, I really enjoy the iOS, operating system because it's so simple to use and it's clean. There's no like extra bells and whistles. It does the job. For me, I was
But you're
like,
paying a premium.
yeah, you're paying a premium for that.
well, one thing I've noticed. So previous to this, I was a heavy Android user. I had the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edges, Z3s, and
Yeah,
one thing I did notice with the Android phones is specifically like for Samsung, their OS, it always felt real jittery. Even though that was like their flagship phone, and like the specs on that are insane. Like compared to like on paper, compared to an iOS device, some of the Samsung devices, their specs are insane. But like their OS just like really lets it down. Like I felt it was stuttery just like swiping through the screen. I'd get some sort of glitches and
But
whatnot.
yeah.
you could customize that though.
But
Honestly, I've
You don't have to use TouchWiz. You
I've
could use the other launchers.
I've had my OnePluses now. I've had like 2 OnePluses. OnePlus 2.
Oh,
OnePlus
which
5T.
OnePlus do you have?
I have a 5T right now, and
Bro, I got the 60 right now.
they're
Yo.
really good. I like it a lot. Like it
like-
wasn't
But
even
they're
that
like so
expensive
fast.
either. And they're really like the OS is fine. It's real smooth. Everything's real simple.
yeah, I understand that. But it's still like when you use an iOS device, the operating system just feels so much more refined. Like there's like none of those. I know it's like extra features that you could have on Android where you can customize the screen, put widgets and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And on iOS you can't do that.
Yeah.
But it just feels so fluid, and like the phone I have right now, which lasted me I think 3 years, and like it's never crashed. It's running perfectly. Surprisingly, I'm one of the only people you'll see with an iPhone without a cracked screen.
Damn, my OnePlus 2 was not like that at all. I had it for about 6 months, and then I somehow managed to brick it, and I had to completely reinstall the
So
OS
you
with a
bricked
bootloader or
it.
something like
You
that.
bricked it.
Yeah, I did something wrong, trying to root
No,
the phone or something. I
you
can't even
bricked
remember what
it.
I did, but it was entirely user error, my dude. And it was a stressful like hour when I couldn't turn my phone on, but then I just fixed it and got through it. You know?
Yeah.
XDA.
Oh, Sam, what is your experiences with Android then?
Oh well, I've never actually owned an Apple product in my life. Not
Yeah.
even what was those things? iTouch or those things we had in like
Oh yeah,
primary?
iPod Touch. Did I
iPod
have one
Touch.
of
Yeah,
those?
Oh,
I didn't even
remember
have one of
those
them.
days, man. That was so good.
Bro, those things. Because
So
I had the last gen of those.
yeah, so I'm a hearty Android.
Yeah.
So I started with the actual Galaxy S1, the first generation. And from my years, I stopped supporting Samsung on phones because I feel like there are much better quality Android phones for price out there.
Yeah. I
And
agree with you on that.
with Samsung, I feel like it slows down after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
one phone that hasn't disappointed me is OnePlus. So
Yeah, man. Yeah.
from
Sponsored, by the way. We're
it's
sponsored
so
by OnePlus.
Thank you, OnePlus, for sponsoring this podcast.
it's so responsive, like face unlock under a second.
But how long have you had that?
So I've had the 5T back since 2 years ago.
Okay.
But my 5T when I went to Samoa, I had it in my pocket when I was swimming, and then there was some water issues with that.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
RIP.
Yeah. So I got insurance on it and got the 6T. So
Nice.
it's an upgrade there. In-display fingerprint.
I mean, I got another one. It's like, so the iPhone 6s was never advertised with waterproofing. It was never. I don't think it was actually IP certified. But I take it in water. It's never broken. Fully submerged.
Are any of the Apple phones advertised as waterproof?
All the new ones have IP ratings.
I don't think I've ever seen them use that as a selling point like they did with Samsung, though.
I mean, in the trailers of the XS, the iPhone XSs, they did show like using it in the rain, and they're like, "Oh, IP." They've increased the IP rating in this, so you can use it in the rain. I feel like now
Yeah.
water resistance is like irrelevant because like you would think by default now the newer phones have some sort of water resistancy to them.
Well,
Well,
you'd
any-
hope when
any
you're paying
flag-
$2,000
Yeah.
for a phone that it's got waterproofing.
I mean,
Any flagship phone. you
yeah,
would
yeah,
expect.
any flagship phone you'd think
Yeah.
has some sort of water resistant capabilities to it. I mean, now we've kind of gone on a little bit of a tangent here from the original topic. Well, it's good. It's good. It's like a free discussion. But bring it back to the AirPods here, and well, bring it back to like what do we think really is the main reason of why AirPods are so popular? Other than flexing,
I think the main reason, at least in my mind, is that there's such a lack of decent competition, and any sort of notable like big names in the market aren't. There's like none.
yeah.
I don't know any other wireless headphones that are actually decent. I remember the name is Plantronics or something.
Oh yeah.
Some like terrible. They were awful quality, man. The sound was so bad.
And they're kind of they're a bit chunky, aren't they? Like stick
Yeah,
out of
they
your
were
ears a bit.
huge. They were huge, man.
Yeah, like when I like search up wireless when I was looking for a wireless in-ear before I bought the AirPods, most of them were like the Beat style where they had like a wire that runs
Yeah, well,
between them.
there's all of those ones.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of those. I really wanted something like completely wireless.
Yeah.
And then like the other alternatives, like the Jaybirds, they just look a bit chunky to me. And I know a lot of people call the AirPods like really bad design. They call like was like two brushes in the air and all that kind of stuff. But I still think they kind of grow on you. Like because like I walk around town and I see people with them. I don't think they look that bad. What are your thoughts on the looks of them?
Personally, it's probably the better looking wireless headphones on the market.
Right.
But I still wouldn't rep them.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, is that just because it's Apple or?
Yeah, pretty much. Did I tell you the story so I wanted some wireless headphones for the gym, and
Right.
I was looking at the Jaybird X4s and the Power Beats from
Yeah.
Beats. So I looked at the Beats and I really like the design of them. They
Yeah.
look real nice. But also heard reviews saying the Jaybird has better quality.
Right.
But I was still gonna buy the Beats anyway because of the brand. But then I came across this YouTube video and it was about how Beats is actually owned by Apple. And then
Oh,
straight
yeah.
away I
Oh,
bought the
boy.
X4s.
Nice.
But then what is
True
your
story.
reasoning for not liking Apple in that case to like not buy an earphone? Like what makes you resent Apple so
This
much?
is gonna be a long tangent if you want to go into it.
I'm just curious as to why like as soon like Beats, right?
Yeah.
Even though it is owned by Apple, doesn't mean that it's gonna sound anything. It could still be a good product, right? It could still sound really
Yeah,
good.
it could be, but the thing is, I don't want to support Apple.
Yeah, but Beats has always been pretty similar to Apple, where they have
Yeah.
a huge markup for the brand
Yeah.
over what you actually get. So there's always like cheaper products which are just as good or
Yeah.
better.
I do.
And
Yeah, I do.
yeah.
Because I owned a pair of Beats in ears, and I mean for that price point, like I believe those back in the day, those were like over $300. And for what you were getting compared to, and then after that I bought like a cheaper pair of Shores, and the Shores sounded way better, and they were only like $100. And looking
Yeah,
into
man.
the research of Beats, it's like the reason why they kind of sound a little bit different to other competitions, they apply their own equalizer onto the earphones, which accentuates the bass. So it makes you think that they're more bassy in terms of like they're giving a better bass, but it's just they're making the sound a bit more unnatural.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with the Jaybird app, you can also do the equalization and
Yeah.
customize it to how you want.
Yeah.
So,
So you can do that, right?
yeah.
But like the Beats, I don't know what like the new ones. I haven't had a new one in a while, but the old ones came with an equalizer on it, and it
So
was like
could you change it?
no. So it was like what came out of the box, and it was like
Box,
the
right.
Beats sound. So like that's what they were known for. Like you had this like accentuated bass, and so that made them sound better in theory. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like back in the day I thought Beats was way overpriced. So now it looks like they dropped like Beats, the Power Beats 3 are like 129. Looks like. Look, the prices seem to be dropping on them. Guess-
129. I thought they were like 250.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at one right now. Power Beats 3.
Oh yeah, because I'm pretty sure they have a new release coming out soon.
But again, like I don't like the wire thing in between the. Oh,
But I feel like
then
I feel like the wire thing in between is more safe though. Like if one of them fall out a year, like you would know. Like it would stick to the other year,
Oh,
you know?
I mean, well, with the Apple one, you pull one out, it'll pause your music, so you'll know.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's one real cool thing with the Apple one is you pull it out, it'll pause music, put it back in, it'll play it back again from the same spot. Tapping the AirPods skips songs, tapping it once will like pause the song. I mean, there's some cool features on it. Like one of the selling points as well for AirPods 2 was the integration of Siri, like more. You can do more with Siri with your AirPods. But like, who's gonna be talking? And like, imagine you're walking down the road and you're just like, "Hey Siri, play play song and you're just walking down the road talking to yourself. I don't see myself.
Imagine if there was someone like walking next to you called Siri though. Like that would
Imagine
be
if you
pretty
had the
awkward.
name of a really dodgy song and you're like, "Hey Siri, play XXX song."
Oh, nice.
That would be. Can't see myself Siri in public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be pretty weird.
Anyways, all right. So I think we're drawing ourselves a bit to a close on this topic. Can we have some final thoughts on what we think about the AirPods? I'll ask this question. If someone was to give you a pair of AirPods for free, would you wear them?
I'd probably try them, but I don't know if I'd use them that much.
I'll
Right.
test them out, but I won't get drawn into the ecosystem.
Right. But would you like rep them in public? Would you wear them about?
Well, if they were good, yeah, I would.
Right now, I don't have any earbuds, so when I'm like walking around town, I don't have any way to listen to
Well-
music, so I probably would.
To be honest, I only use wireless and headphones at the gym. Like, otherwise, if you're using a wired one, the quality is much better. So, the only way I would probably wear the Apple ones is if they were better than the current Jaybirds I'm currently using.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna introduce a rating system that we're gonna use at the end of podcast. Out of 10, I want you to give it a Shaqtech technology rating. This is to how innovative and how cool this tech is. So I wanna see what tech rating would you give the AirPods.
Well, man, I haven't used them at all, so going off of that information, probably.
Like
don't
no,
know,
I
like
mean
a-
like in terms of like innovation and how cool they
But
are.
are we-
how
are we-
electrical.
Are we rating the AirPods 2 or the first generation? Because
mean,
if you're
not-
rating the
no.
AirPods 2 from the AirPods 1, there's not really much innovation going on there.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, just like AirPods in general. AirPods, the creation of AirPods.
I feel like they're not that innovative. Again, there's kind of like Apple's style is that they're not
Yeah.
exactly, at the moment at least, like recently, they're not exactly innovative, but they just take what everyone else has got and make it into a decent but highly priced product.
I have to agree with you. So what would be your rating?
I don't know, 5 ears out of pods. I don't know, 5 ears, 5 ears, 5 ear pods.
5
I'm
AirPods.
trying to come up with the rating systems.
Is it Shaq points or what? Like, how are
Yeah,
you
I
rating
said-
it?
I said the Shaqtech rating here. So yeah, well, Shaq points out of Shaq points. How many Shaq points would you give it?
So, is it out of 10 or how's
out
the
of-
Shaq points
Out of,
working?
out of 10.
Out
Out
of
of
10.
10.
But this is your first
Yeah, this is the first
podcast.
rating. This is the first rating. I'll put it on some sort of a table, and we'll have some ratings on there.
I will give it a 5 for
Five.
now.
Yeah,
Alright.
five Shaqtechs out of a possible 10 Shaqtechs.
Well, for me as a user of AirPods and using them quite regularly, I'd give them a 7. I'll give them a 7 because I
Oh,
have a bit of a soft spot to them. I own them, and I use them quite a bit. And
Ha, gay.
hey, relax. All right, then. Okay, guys. Thank you for listening to our podcast here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We're always keen to hear of any new ideas on how to improve this podcast. Drop any topics you want to hear next on the podcast down below in the comments, or join the Discord. Link will be in the description. Special thanks to Rhinosaurus for joining us today, and Mr. Pasan from Tech Gumball. His link to his YouTube channel will be down below. Go check it out. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, Ryan, you want to take this out?
eyeball one, and see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.